Hello.
There he is.
How are you?
I'm well. I'm well. I'm adjusting.
Good. Good. Nice to see you.
You too. You too. Welcome to the Lift Oneself podcast, Travis. I'm so thankful you're here with me.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you.
Let's take a breath together. Breathe in through your nose and gently release. How's your heart doing?
It's beating fast right now, faster than usual, but I think it's going to ease, and kind of pace itself soon. But, breathing, it's funny, breathing is something. I have a really close friend, and when we talk a lot about breathing and how, if we thought about our breathing when in certain situations in life, we would have better results, and we'd be able to think clearly and, do things that are more within what we want to do, so yeah, breathing is, very important.
Yeah, we don't harness the power of it enough. We don't most of us weren't taught about it. It's just something that we take for granted because it's in our autonomic nervous system to breathe, to keep our vessel alive. Yet we don't realize how we can interrupt certain patterns and habits by breathing, to be with the reactivity that is a very fast-paced energy, and to slow it down so that you, as you mentioned, do critical thinking and to make choices before we take action. So yeah, I'm thankful these discussions are being had about how important breath is, and it's a free tool. Imagine that.
Exactly. We learned about it, me and my friend, watching anime, and a lot of the martial arts, it would be about breathing, maybe opening a chakra or slowing down time. So it's all about your breathing. So when we saw that in anime, we tried to incorporate that into our daily life, just to get that edge, as you said. It's a free tool, so we're trying to use that to kind of better ourselves.
Yeah. What can you thank COVID for?
Oh, I thank COVID for just slowing society down. I felt like pre-COVID. Um, I felt like pre-COVID that a lot of people were taking things for granted. There was a lot of events going on. Some people just chose to stay home. You know, there's a lot. And I feel like now people appreciate some of the freedoms that we have. If it's a event, any kind of event, I've seen people show up to professional events. I've seen people show up to parties. People are showing up now, and they're not taking things for granted like they did pre-COVID. And I appreciate that. Um, even if I feel like I didn't take things for granted, I still, going through that, had to really, you really felt like maybe we'll never have those freedoms again. What would that be like? So appreciate what we had. Also, it gave us time to self-reflect, to think, to be with ourselves. Some people really enjoyed being with themselves. Some people didn't. It was interesting to see that dynamic. But for me, I enjoyed being with myself and kind of learning what was important in life,
Mm-hmm.
and what kind of wasn't important.
Mm-hmm.
Had that time to reflect, or you had time to really see what was important because you were at home either alone or with family, and that's basically all you had, right? You didn't have the devices like gambling or um, whatever vice you like. You didn't have that outlet. It wasn't available to you, so you had to deal with yourself or your family, and kind of and then you realize that's what's important. It's not all the other distractions that's out there. So that was due to the pandemic as well.
Yeah. So you recently launched the Brotherhood Coalition. Can you explain to the listeners what that is?
Yeah, so during the pandemic, actually, me and my friend group, about we're about 10 to 15 Black men that I've known since high school. And we were just talking about the George Floyd situation and what we can do as brothers, as Black brothers, for the betterment of Black people and our condition right now. And my friend Chooks, he kind of came up with the Brotherhood Coalition. Well, I don't think we had the name, but basically a group of us, of Black men, um, coming together, starting in Ottawa, and pooling our resources, our skills, our knowledge, and helping each other as Black men kind of own and shape the environment here in Ottawa. By utilizing ownership of buildings, accumulation of finances, and community organization. So we launched a couple weeks ago, and we've grown pretty rapidly. And we're just in the beginning phases, and we're really trying to to do something different, to do something next level. I feel like as Black people, we've progressed to a point where I feel like we no longer have to only talk about our condition. We can now shape it. Mm-hmm. And we're big on legacy for a lot of the men in the group, their fathers and husbands. So they're looking to leave something for their kids here in Ottawa and around the world. Mm-hmm. So that when police do look at them in 20 years, it's not like how they looked at George Floyd. The whole society is going to be changed at that point, through the work that we're starting here, on the shoulders of, people, Black men who came before us, and Black women as well. So that's basically what we're about.
Okay. What would you say the intention is?
So the intention for us is to reshape the condition of Black people and the perception of Black men in specifically. I think that I've seen change through my lifetime. When I was growing up, I would watch CNN, at 11 years old, and I would see Bill Clinton, and he was the Black president because he could play jazz and he spoke to the African Americans in a way that really kind of spoke to them for the first time. And then during high school, going into university, I started to hear about Barack Obama, and even though I thought that he could become president at one point, even during the convention in 2004, I think, where he was like very young. My dad never thought that he could become president because his generation was a lot more cynical. They saw a lot more than I did. Mm-hmm. So up until Obama won the election, he didn't believe, and that was very eye-opening for me to see. Not only Obama winning, but also my dad having to realize that we've progressed to a point where even America could do this. So now in 2020, it's a new phase where, as Black people, the having Obama as president is almost like a empty win, but it was important, and I feel like now is the building phase where we actually build the Wakanda, and it's actually real, and society comes to grips with the fact that Black people are now
human beings.
Right, exactly. And funny you say that. Throughout my whole life, being born in Canada, I actually didn't see race look back and say until like grade 2, when it became evident that there was a distinction between my Blackness and someone's whiteness, or whatever that distinction is. That's when it became clear. So I've always felt like, we're a bag of bones and flesh, and
Meat sack.
the actual pigmentation and all of that is so superficial. It's mind-boggling, but at the same time, because of the social construct, that's the only reason it even plays. So that just shows that I have as much love for a human being. Sometimes I see people love dogs, and I'm like, so they must understand that if we as humans can love dogs so much, then you understand why we love humans as much, or more. And there's no distinction between color when it comes to that, because dogs are clearly not humans, and we still have that
attachment, connection,
capacity, and connection. So,
what does self-care look like for you?
Like today, like right now, like in my adulthood, I would say that starting my day right.
What does that look like, starting your day
like
right?
Making my bed, and going through my routine. I try to incorporate self-care into my life, into my career. So I have a lot of downtime. I have a flexible schedule. Like, I feel like that's self-care. Like, I've worked for 20 years in the private sector, in the public sector, 9 to 5. I've worked like shift work as well, doing call center work and stuff like that as well in my past. And I've seen how detrimental it is to just be in that rat race. So I've tried to kind of develop time for me to just have downtime, a lot of sun, like going on the balcony, as you said, time to breathe. So all that's self-care. I like to, like little things like skin treatment, or taking turkey tail mushroom, supplements and stuff like that. And
bring it out. Bring it out.
No, just little things like that. And what's unfortunate is, like, I find that when I'm stressed out, I kind of put that on the back burner, right? And I try to direct all my energy to solving the issue, slaying the dragon, and you kind of run yourself down. I try to work out. That's like one of the main things. There's a lot of benefits to working out. I wanted to start running as well, like just outdoors in the mornings. But then life comes and says, no, you can't do that. You have to worry about X, Y, and Z. So, so, I look forward to getting to that place where I'm waking up and I'm running in the mornings, and then I'm eating breakfast, and it's a good breakfast. So when I wake up, I like to drink water, because I heard drinking water kind of first thing is good for your digestive system and whatnot. And then I take my supplements on an empty stomach. And then I'd like to run and then eat breakfast. And I like to do yoga as well, like to stretch my limbs. I have long limbs and I'm getting older. And I did a lot of desk work, since I was 17, 18. So there's a lot that goes into mental health. And that's why I feel like driving to work, working 8 hours in an ivory tower and driving there. And that's a lot of work and doesn't leave room for your mental mental health work. So I think post pandemic, I think a lot of people started to realize that prioritizing mental health work, which could be like 6 hours in your day, is more important than the 4 hours commute that you were doing or the 9 hours in the ivory tower. It's killing you slowly, that way. So
you're dying rather
you
than
want to enjoy your pension.
Exactly. And that's, a lot of people don't realize the first half of their life, they're working so hard. And then the second half, they have to use their resources to save their health.
Yeah.
It's a very backwards mentality. It's like, what? Do you meditate?
I don't meditate in the formal, like I'll hold the meds.
Okay.
Right. And I feel like it's the same thing. But there's certain times where I like music. So music is constantly playing, and I feel like meditation is more of a no sound action. But I'm often in a med state where I'm just thinking. I might be looking at the skyline, or I might be pacing back and forth, or I might be driving, walking. But just being in a state of positive thinking, positive curiosity, and like in a zone. A lot of times I'll be at a event, like a party, a birthday party, and everyone's drinking and talking and there's music and I am zoned out, right? And I feel like I'm known as that guy, and I do that because I'm just I'm more of an introvert, but I'm kind of in my head. But I feel like it's a healing action, and it's a more of an intellectual thing. I'm just thinking about solutions. I'm thinking about things that I can put into effect in the future, or I'm thinking about my past, or I'm thinking about just certain things. So that's how I meditate.
Celebrating you, Natalie, today and always as you come up to the first year anniversary of Lift Oneself. I had the pleasure of being in that space with you and really want to commend you for holding authentic and nourishing spaces for us to connect in and talk about life, talk about the waves that we all navigate, especially as parents, as mothers, as nurturers, as caregivers, as those who are fostering a new way of being on this planet. You are certainly one of those humans that I take a lot of joy in connecting with. So thank you, and may this podcast live long. Lots of love.
How are you with your emotions?
I think I'm pretty good with my emotions. I do. As far as my anger, what's funny about my anger, what I remember about it is when I moved from Montreal to Ottawa when I was 12. I remember having like arguments with my mom about like cleaning and stuff, and teenager stuff. And I remember kind of being angry, and I was kind of angry about leaving my friends in Montreal and having to start new friends and stuff. And I think that kind of, that was kind of catalyst for us behaving like that. And then I also remember, but that kind of died down before I became an adult. It was only like a year or two where I was kind of like that. But I remember the point where like I decided that I would never really argue with my parents again. Like in my mid-20s, I just realized that because they're my parents, you know, I should never really be angry towards them because they're always kind of looking out for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you reach that age where you realize like that's all they're doing basically. They don't really have any other motive other than like just looking out for you. So why would you get angry at them?
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of stopped, and since then me and my parents have been like best friends.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with, you know, relationships that I've had, you know, with women. In my early 20s, you know, there'd be arguments and I'd have my point and I'm using logic, you know, and the woman would come back with something. I never had you know, my emotion, I was always available emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
And cognizant of others' needs while I'm always being self-centered, right? So yeah, listening to myself is I feel like I do a good job of that. You know, same thing when I got to my late 20s, I started realizing that there's no point arguing with women either. You know, so I'm like, no, there's no point. Like if they like you, they like you. And if they don't like you, then you're the problem. You either have to change or you have to go. But to sit there and argue, you know, and there's communicating and then there's arguing, you know.
Yeah.
And if you're arguing, and also, you know, the Brotherhood Coalition, us being Black men and holding each other accountable, you know, and being a leader, you know, we don't have a de facto leader, but you know, the person who leads their life the right way will, you know, people will follow that person because it's just human nature. I try to lead my life a certain way where the women in my life will be positively impacted by me. And, you know, I make sure that that's kind of how I lead my life, so that when I speak to other men, I have that authority and they're able to be vulnerable and, you know, kind of let us know what's going on with their relationship or what they did here and what they did there. And I could say, you know what, you can't do X, Y, and Z, you know, and really be authoritative on that because that's the way I live my life. Getting back to like emotions, it's hard being a man and being emotionally available. You know, it's very hard, you know, and also, you know, if a man is single or if a man is married, that really plays into how emotionally vulnerable they can be. But controlling like emotions, yeah, that's very important as a man, that you are able to do that.
Explain what controlling emotions is. What do you mean by that?
You know, I always before I even knew the intricacies of it, I always prided myself on being emotionally intelligent and having a good temperament. And you know, I feel like to be a leader, you have to have a temperament that, you know, is conducive to long-term, you know, just long-term success. And it's hard. I find that a lot of men, you know, try to be alpha and trying to be perceived as alpha, lose everything else. You know, if they were to ever get to be a leader, they wouldn't be able to do anything with the mantle. So that's you had a second part was controlling.
What do you mean by controlling emotions? Like a man to control the emotions.
You know, I feel big about being like a leader in your house. Mm-hmm. And I'm from a household where my dad never really raised his voice. He never really And when I say never, I mean like never, basically. You know, and I lived with my parents for over 20 years. That's what I'm kind of used to. I'm used to someone being kind of in control all the time. It just brings a level of safety, and there can be a lot of growth within that safety net that a man can bring if he's able to have that temperament and control his emotions. And it's weird to say control your emotions, but it's more to just to be effective with your emotions.
Because sometimes people can hear the language of control, and that means denying and bypassing your emotions.
You know, someone from my generation, I've had to, you know, I've had talks with his generation about being more open, you know, because I feel like with each generation, it's probably a more of an openness as far as your emotions, you know, being more in tune with your feminine side and stuff like that. There's more acceptance of that. And so I've been on the other side of the fence where, you know, but I think there's a time and a place for that. So if I felt like there's been times where I felt like I wasn't ready to be head of a household or to have a wife and stuff like that, because I needed to really work on being in tune with my masculinity. Right now, I feel like I'm very strong in my masculinity. So I'm able to exercise my femininity more because my masculinity will not be questioned. For me, when I get to that point is when I feel like, okay, I think I can, you know, I'm ready for everything. I'm ready for marriage. I'm ready for success, because I feel like I'm so confident in my masculinity and not have that questioned at all and just keep it pushing, you know? And I think that's the healthiest a man can be.
There's times where I have brain fog, where there's low energy. I don't want to do anything. I'm not motivated. And let me tell you, I had no idea what I needed until I tried Magic Mind. So I was a bit skeptic trying this Magic Mind, not thinking it was really going to do anything. Let me tell you, I was so wrong. Now, the reason I was skeptic is because it's all natural ingredients, such as ceremonial grade matcha, lion's mane mushroom, turmeric cumin. And you know what? I had no idea that it would lift my energy, drive focus, and boost my mood. What I had as procrastination before wasn't there. The brain fog was lifted. And, you know, I tried it in several different ways. I did it before a podcast. Another day I did it before having to coach a client. Another day I did it when I had to do physical activities with the twins. And each time there was clarity and energy. It was fantastic. Sharing is caring. And for you, the listener, I'm able to offer you a discount code. Yeah. For the next 10 days, you are able to get 40% off your subscription. Go to the link www.magicmind.co/lift and use my discount code LIFT20. You don't know until you try it. And let me tell you, I've tried it and I am a subscriber now. Don't wait.
It's good to talk about not having the need to go viral, not behaving in a way that makes it more likely that you'll become viral. Because I think becoming viral is driving behavior, driving what people may say and may do, you know, all for the algorithm. And you know, we need to have voices talking about just doing the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's because attention is what we seek.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what addiction is, because we're seeking attention and we're not getting it. So there's an ache with that.
Yeah. And that's what, you know, we try to hold each other accountable when it comes to that. You know, it's the ego, you know, having a bunch of guys together, you know, there's a lot of ego. You have to hold each other accountable and
the power struggles. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, and you have to be able to take criticism.
Yeah.
You know, there's certain things in our society that we need to put more emphasis on. And it starts with, you know, people like me or us just saying, hey, you know, you don't have to do that to become viral. You don't need to be viral. You know, being anonymous is great. Advantages and just other ways to make money. And you know what? Money's not even that important. That's just, you know, if you could find, you know, a shelter, and a place to live, like you're good to go.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
And a
a
lot of people,
quality of life.
it's the quality of life. Because a lot of people have like the jewelry and stuff like that, and it's like, it's good for
I'm
you.
not, I can put that on a vacation. Thanks.
Yeah, it's.
I can put that on travel.
And you know what the best thing is? I like jewelry. I like nice cars, house, nice things, but it's like an accent,
Mhm.
right? Because if your life isn't good, if you're not feeling good about life and you have those things, it'll make you more depressed.
Yeah. Again,
Right?
amplifying.
Your depression gets amplified because you're saying, "Oh my God, I have these things and I'm not,
I'm still
and
not feeling.
I'm not feeling it." And what if I lost one of those things
Mm-hmm.
while still not feeling it? I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna feel even worse because
Exactly.
now I don't even have that one validation thing that was, kind of bringing me joy, even though I was depressed. Now that's gone. Now I'm really doing bad.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so if you have the mentality where you have that nice car, the jewelry, the girl by your side, but you actually like life.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna see you like 5 years from now. You're gonna be doing even better. 10 years from now, you'll be doing even better because you were happy.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just things that came with your happiness. Those are just byproducts.
Yeah.
Those things that I saw you with. But if you were unhappy with those things, so it's all accents. And if kids knew that, and if kids knew that they didn't have to drug deal or scam
Mm-hmm.
to find that happiness, and know that those things are just byproducts. Like, when you reach my age, anybody could afford a luxury vehicle
Mm-hmm.
because you've made at least 40 grand for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So bare minimum, you qualify for a luxury vehicle. But do you prioritize a luxury vehicle? A lot of people don't prioritize a luxury vehicle. That's why they're not driving it. So if kids understood that, you could get the luxury vehicle if you want. Anybody can, or you can dress the way you want at 35. That's no problem because just an average man making a salary for a long time, if he saves 5% a year, by the time he's 35 to 40, he'll have enough money. But I think we're such a material world, and consumerism, big corporations have made us such consumerists that we think we need $200,000 salary to afford a huge mountain of things. And I don't even think we need that.
No, we don't. But yet, some people do because of the ache and the hole with an H that's in them that they're trying to fill. And it feels like a black hole and it just is insatiable. And so they keep trying to stuff it, thinking that it will make them whole with a W, and it won't. It's their own love and their own attention that they have to be in that stillness, be in that silence to see the pain and go through that portal, to
Yeah,
go
no,
through that portal.
and I don't know if it's my upbringing, but I saw my parents, you know, um, live in a home, and it didn't have to be the biggest house, but it was big for them at the time. Now they're saying it's a bit small, but at the time they were saying, they have 3 floors, they have a basement, a main floor, a top floor. Like, you don't need much in life,
Mhm.
you have
Because
food to eat.
now at my age, I'm like the upkeeping of these I'm
Well,
not
yeah,
doing these upkeepings. I'm like,
exactly, right. But the stairs is now becoming, it's not an issue, but it can become an issue, right? You
yeah,
have stairs and you have a garden to maintain and stuff like that. So I'm just happy where I could be. All I need is shelter.
yeah.
I don't need too much space. You know, I am alone, but so I think that, and I think we're moving to a point where, if you were to have like a $2 million mortgage, that would force you, that would kind of dictate your life, because you'd have to maintain that income
Yeah.
to really stay in that home. Um,
Yeah. Where the economy is going,
yeah, the way
it's
the
scary.
economy is going, yeah, that's
It's not sustainable, and it's going to crash, and there'll be a recession, and my concern is the recession of people's mental well-being, because a lot of the younger generation, especially in the 20s and 30s, they went and got homes that they were already limited in their budget and trying to fake their numbers and everything else. They are not taken in consideration when the interest rates go up by 3%. Even just by 1% can mash up people. Yeah, when it goes up 3%, and you don't have the capacity to pay these payments and stuff, and then the devastation that you accumulated something for a status and now it's gone. And that is a big, grief. That's grief that people don't realize the interaction with that and the identity.
Yeah, no, and I didn't even, thinking back to like 2018 during that recession, I watched a lot of documentaries about people being foreclosed on and families going through a rough time and stuff like that. And since then, we've had a lot more issues in our society, not including the pandemic, that battered our mental health. For us to go through a recession now, as you said, where people bought status symbols, and now the interest rate's gonna, if it's like anything like the 80s, it can go up to like 8%, right? And then I think it would be, nobody could afford their mortgage at that point. I don't know.
Well, some people would. Some people would.
Yeah.
If I had to retire and I had to change my whole lifestyle. And now I have a financial freedom because I had to make specific choices with my lifestyle and to simplify things and to remove certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And I removed a lot of vices. So when people are like, you don't drink? No. You don't smoke? No. You don't you don't party? You don't buy clothes? You don't. And I'm like, no, because I saw the capitalism, I saw the consumerism, and I saw that these things also are vices for you to avoid your inner work, to be with the discomfort of what's really nagging me, that I'm needing this stimulus to distract myself from it, to soothe myself. And there's nothing wrong with the material things. There's nothing wrong with having a big home. It's when you are not aware that you're using this to avoid whatever pain or whatever things are going on inside you. And so you have to recognize that. I'm going to ask you one more question, and then, because I just noticed the time, I'm going to bring you into a reflective question. I'm going to ask you to take your awareness now and go back to your 18-year-old self. And you're only allowed to tell your 18-year-old self 3 words. They can be single words or in a form of a phrase. What would those 3 words be?
It would be something along the lines of it's a long race. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a marathon.
Yeah, it's a long race, and you think you're thinking long term, but you're not thinking long term, because at 18, I didn't think 25 or 35 would be the way it was. I thought I'd be like an old man. I thought, yeah, grandpa. I don't know what, like, it's so unrealistic what you think, 20 years looks at 18 from now. So I would have never thought I'd be where I'm at. So, yeah.
Where can the listeners find you?
You could find me, my personal IG is Trinidad Travis, just one word. You could also find me at the Brotherhood Coalition. That's both on Facebook and IG.
Is there anything you'd like to leave the listeners with?
Just, if you're a Black man, follow us. Even if you're not Black or a man, you can follow us.
What about the women?
Exactly. That's what I meant to say. Even if you're not a man, you're a woman, or you're not Black, you can always, follow what we're doing and support us. You may not, be able to
be educated.
Yeah, exactly. And we do, want that support, or, whether it's just watching our Zoom event or whatnot. So, that'd be great. And I just want to, put it out there that there are people out there who care about other people and kind of want to hear, what's going on with you and and can relate to what you're going through. I've always it always surprises me when people are surprised that other people feel the same way they do, and because I'm always like, we're all human, we're all the same, so we kind of see stimuli the same way, and life could only throw so much at us. We've all one or two, someone has seen what you've seen or been through what you've been through. So, when you are going through a certain event, I take solace in the fact that there's probably thousands of people who are going through the same thing I'm going through, and they're overcoming it. So I can do that as well. And I think that with that type of mentality, that you're not the only person going through this, that, and that, and and always knowing that it could have been worse, and it's lucky that you are where you are. That's a good way to think.
I want to thank you for extending your time because I know how valuable time is in life. So I thank you for sharing with the podcast listeners. And I'm really thankful that you're bringing this Brotherhood coalition out into the world. It's truly needed for our men of color and men just in particular. They need these spaces where they can be supported and encouraged and have spaces where they can be listened to and witnessed and shown that, we see you and we know that what's possible and what's great in you. So thank you very much, Travis, for everything that you're doing.
Thank you, Nat, for having this space, for inviting me. You are important, not to be too long, but, being in Ottawa for a long time, I get to, I know everybody and the roles they play in the city and stuff, and your role just as someone who's genuine and wants to share is very important, and I thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Remember to be kind with yourself.
I will. Same to you.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thank you for your time. It's greatly appreciated. If you found any value in this conversation, please share it out with a friend. Help us grow the dialogue. Let us create the safe spaces of healing. You can find more information at www.liftoneself.com. Until next time, be kind with yourself.